America is also partnering with you on an issue that's fundamental to Kenya's future. We are investing in youth. We are investing in the young people of Kenya and the young people of this continent. Robert F. Kennedy once said. It is a revolutionary world that we live in, and it is the young people who must take the lead. It's the young people who must take the lead. So through our Young African Leaders initiative we are empowering and connecting young people from across the continent who are filled with energy and optimism and idealism, and are going to take Africa to new heights. And these young people, they're not weighted down by the old ways. They're creating a new path. And these are the elements for success in this 21st century. To continue down this path of progress, it will be vital for Kenya to recognize that no country can achieve its full potential unless it draws on the talents of all its people, and that must include the half of Kenyans, maybe a little more than half, who are women and girls. Now, I'm going to spend a little time on this just for a second. Every country and every culture has traditions that are unique and help make that country what it is. But just because something is a part of your past doesn't make it right. It doesn't mean that it defines your future. Look at us in the United States. Recently, we've been having a debate about the Confederate flag. Some of you may be familiar with this. This was a symbol for those states who fought against the Union to preserve slavery. Now, as a historical artifact, it's important. but some have argued that it's just a symbol of heritage that should fly in public spaces. The fact is it was a flag that flew over an army that fought. To maintain a system of slavery and racial subjugation. So we should understand our history, but we should also recognize that it sends a bad message to those who were liberated from slavery and oppression. And in part because of an unspeakable tragedy that took place recently. Where a young man who was a fan of the Confederate flag and racial superiority shot helpless people in a church. More and more Americans of all races are realizing now that that flag should come down. Just because something is a tradition doesn't make it right. Well, so around the world, there is a tradition of repressing women and treating them differently. And not giving them the same opportunities, and husbands beating their wives, and children not being sent to school. Those are traditions. Treating women and girls as second-class citizens. Those are bad traditions. They need to change. They're holding you back. Treating women as second-class citizens is a bad tradition. It holds you back. There's no excuse for sexual assault or domestic violence. There's no reason that young girls should suffer genital mutilation. There's no place in civilized society for the early or forced marriage of children. These traditions may date back centuries, they have no place in the 21st century. These are issues of right and wrong in any culture. But they're also issues of success and failure. Any nation that fails to educate its girls or employ its women and allowing them to maximize their potential is doomed to fall behind in a global economy. You know, we're in a sports center. Imagine if you have a team and you don't let half of the team play. That's stupid. That makes no sense. And the evidence shows that communities that give their daughters the same opportunities as their sons, they are more peaceful, they are more prosperous, they develop faster. They are more likely to succeed. That's true in America. That's true here in Kenya. It doesn't matter. And that's why one of the most successful development policies you can pursue is giving girls an education. And removing the obstacles that stand between them and their dreams. And by the way, if you educate girls, they grow up to be moms, and they, because they're educated, are more likely to produce educated children. So Kenya will not succeed if it treats women and girls as second-class citizens. I want to be very clear about that. Now, this leads me to the third pillar of progress, and that's choosing a future of peace and reconciliation. There are real threats out there. President Kenyatta and I spent a lot of time discussing the serious threat from Al-Shabaab that Kenya faces. The United States faces similar threats of terrorism. We are grateful for the sacrifices made by Kenyans on the front lines as part of AMISOM. We're proud of the efforts that we're making to strengthen Kenya's capabilities through our new security governance initiative. We're going to stand shoulder to shoulder with you in this fight against terrorism for as long as it takes. But, as I mentioned yesterday, it is important to remember that violent extremists want us to turn against one another. That's what terrorists typically try to exploit. They know that they are a small minority, they know that they can't win conventionally. So what they try to do is target societies where they can exploit. Divisions. That's what happens in Iraq. That's what happens around the world. That's what happened in Northern Ireland. Terrorists who try to sow chaos, they must be met with force and they must also be met. Though, with a forceful commitment to uphold the rule of law, and respect for human rights. And to treat everybody who's peaceful and law-abiding fairly and equally. Extremists who prey on distrust must be defeated by communities. Who stand together and stand for something different. And the most important example here is that the United States and Kenya both have Muslim minorities. But those minorities make enormous contributions to our countries. These are our brothers, they are our sisters. And so in both our countries, we have to reject calls that allow us to be divided. This is true for any diverse society. And Kenya is rich with diversity with many dozens of tribes and ethnicities. And languages and religious groups. And time and again, just as we've seen the dangers of religious or ethnic violence. We've seen that Kenya is stronger when Kenyans stand united with a sense of national identity. That was the case on December 12, 1963. When cities and villages across this country celebrated the birth of a nation. It was true in 2010, when Kenya replaced the anarchy of ethnic violence with the order of a new constitution. So we can all appreciate our own identities, our bloodlines. Our beliefs, our backgrounds. That tapestry is what makes us who we are. But the history of Africa, which is both the cradle of human progress and a crucible of conflict, shows us that when define ourselves narrowly, in opposition to somebody just because they're of a different tribe. Or race, or religion, and we ignore who is a good person or a bad person, are they working hard or not? Are they honest or not? Are they peaceful or violent? When we start making distinctions solely based on status and not what people do. Then we're taking the wrong path and we inevitably suffer in the end. This is why Martin Luther King called on people to be judged not by the color of their skin but the content of their character. And in the same way, people should not be judged by their last name. Or their religious faith, but by their content of their character and how they behave. Are they good citizens? Are they good people? In the United States, we embrace the motto, E pluribus unum. In Latin, that means, out of many, one. In Kenya, Harambee, we are in this together. Whatever the challenge, you will be stronger if you face it not as Christians or Muslims. Maasai, Kikuyu, Luo, any other tribe. But as Kenyans. So I want to say particularly to the young people here today, Kenya is on the move. Africa is on the move. You are poised to play a bigger role in this world as the shadows. Of the past are replaced by the light that you offer an increasingly interconnected world. And in the light of this new day, we have to learn to see ourselves in one another. We have to see that we are connected, our fates are bound together. Because, in the end, we're all part of one tribe, the human tribe. And no matter who we are, or where we come from, or what we look like, or who we love, or what God we worship, we're connected. Our fates are bound up with one another. Kenya holds within it all that diversity. And with diversity, sometimes comes difficulty. But I look to Kenya's future filled with hope. And I'm hopeful because of you, the people of Kenya, especially the young people. There are some amazing examples of what's going on right now with young people. I'm hopeful because of a young man named Richard Ruto Todozia. Richard helped build Yes Youth Can. I like the phrase, Yes Youth Can. I'm hopeful because of a young woman named Josephine Kalia. So Josephine founded Samburu Girls Foundation. And she's already helped to rescue over 1,000 girls from abuse and forced marriage. and help place them in schools. A member of the Samburu tribe herself. She's personally planned rescue missions to help girls as young as 6 years old. And she explains that, the longer a girl is in school, everything for her income. For her family, for this country everything changes. She gives me hope.